Hey friend, I hope you are doing so awesome and I hope you have had a great weekend so far. I am so excited to be talking about this particular topic tonight. We're talking about how and why essential oils work. This is when things really begin to come together. So, like the last couple of days, we talked about the frequency of the oils and how that works and how it works in your body and all of that kind of stuff. But now we pull all of those things in together and come into a lot more precision. Like you really get to understand what this really does inside your body and what each drop of oil is really doing each time you use it. It is so amazing. So you're going to have probably a lot of aha moments as you listen to this and learn a whole lot in a few minutes. So let's grab you a piece of paper and a pen and jot down notes as we go and listen to this over and over again, because sometimes it takes me a few times to listen to something before I go, oh, okay, I didn't get that before, but I got it this time. So it's maybe one that you have to listen to it a couple of times. You may have to go back and listen to the first few times, simply because the frequency gets a little bit weird. But when you start adding in molecules and all of that kind of stuff added in with it, it gets a little bit crazy. So, but don't get overwhelmed, because it's really not overwhelming. But this is mainly just to show you why oils work so amazingly with your body and how the difference between using oils and regular medication, like man-made medication, what the differences are. So this is lesson 4, how and why essential oils work. The human body is composed of around 100 trillion cells. That's a whole lot of cells. Essential oils are composed of around 40 million trillion molecules per single drop. So one drop of oil, just one, has 40 million trillion. Now that is 4 with a gazillion zeros behind it. That's a lot. A whole bunch of zeros behind that. So that is in one drop of oil. Can you even fathom what that means? I mean, like, think about 100 trillion cells, but each drop of oil has 40 million trillion molecules per drop. So, I mean, like, really let that sink in. I mean, like, it took me a long time to even be able to picture that, like, that comparison. So, why and how can that many molecules fit into one drop of oil? The simple answer is that the molecules are so teeny tiny. They're just very, very small. Each molecule is so small, and they're compressed, and they're not, if it's the single drop of oil without anything added to it, it's very concentrated. So you're not getting a whole bunch of other yucky stuff in there with it. So they are all less than 300 daltons, or AMUs, which is atomic mass units, in weight. So they're very, very light, very, very compressed. Why this matters to us is that they are able to pass through all of our tissues and directly into our cells. The body's transportation system is extremely effective and can transport these molecules all over the body within minutes when placed anywhere on the body. By simply placing a drop of peppermint on the bottom of the feet, in 20 minutes your entire body will be infiltrated with 40 million trillion molecules. In effect, that's consuming every cell in your body with more than 400,000 molecules each. Okay, so that's a major aha moment, like hitting every cell. When my oldest was 6, she had, we found out she had epilepsy, and she was having seizures all the time. At one point, we finally, because it started off she was having one type, or we thought it was just one type, it ended up growing, and she ended up with like 4 or 5 different types of seizures. So she was on just about a different medication for each one of the different types of seizures, and then each of those had side effects. So when you gather up, and that's what when I started really realizing what all this meant, like this is where my aha just really like came in. We take medication. Our bodies, it's not a natural thing because it's a man-made thing. The molecules are not tiny like the essential oils are. They can't get past the blood-brain barrier like the oils do. So it just lays in there. Now, while it does do a particular function, because it's not working completely with your body, it's still a foreign substance in your body. Your body does not recognize it. So you end up having to take something else because it's causing other side effects, because it may be causing something else in your liver or your kidneys or your heart or whatever. I mean, like you're causing some other thing to happen. And that's why when you watch the commercials of all the gazillions of different things that could go wrong with a medication, and you could die, so that's why, because it's not working really completely. It's going to do this one thing, but it's also going to cause some of these other things to happen because it's not really made fully to work within your body. It's still a foreign substance to your body. So when she was on all of these medicines, it was helping those seizures. But of course, she was on these different medicines. So at one point, we were on 7 different medicines. And most of those were for the different types of seizures. She had to have something different for each kind. Plus, then, they were causing side effects. She was having tremors really bad. She couldn't walk. She couldn't talk really well. Like, she was causing all of these other things. So we had to take some other medicines to try to counteract those things that were going on because of the medicine. Which, at the time, I didn't know any different. I'm just pouring this all into my baby and expecting it all to work and expecting it all to make it all better. And still, at the end of the day, it was not necessarily better. It was still, she was still having breakthrough seizures. She was still having tremors. She was still having these side effects and all of these things because it was just the best we could do. Then, after years of usage of one particular medicine, it began to really work on her kidneys. So we had to take her off of that particular medicine that was doing a great job keeping the seizures under control. But we had to come off of it because it was ruining her kidneys. So we come off of it to go have to put another medicine in there, which caused her to go into a tailspin and have more seizures until they could get the medicine swapped out. That medicine caused a rash, a horrible rash, like horrible, like painful rash. So come off of that, go into more seizures because we're having to wait to figure out another medicine that she could take. Finally, after many, many years and lots and lots of stuff, we finally came to this point where there was this one particular medicine doing a great job. And like now, if anybody says anything about swapping her medicine around, she's like, freaks out. But I say all of that to say, finally, we came up to one medicine. We're able to come off of a lot of these other things. But in that process, we also found essential oils. And Young Living became like a must for us. And that was one of the reasons why we started using Young Living to start with, simply because, not because Young Living is going to heal everything and it's not going to make everything better and you're not going to not ever have to take every medication ever again. I mean, like, she's still on her epilepsy medicine, but because it works within her body, we could see this improvement. Because it was working well with her body, the tremors stopped. She was able to come off of some of the different medicines, the 50 different things we were taking. She's able to come off some of that stuff and have a little bit of relief in some different areas, which was a huge help. I'm not pulling her off of every single little thing because it is keeping things under control. But at the same time, if I can help her to not have 50 things that she's on and get some of those chemicals out of her body, then that's going to be a huge plus. We have to think about the whole the picture as a whole, and not just thinking this is our only answer. The only thing we can do is to take the 50,000 things that they tell us to take. And sometimes when we're in that mode, we get in that steady mode and we only know what we know. We don't know any different. So we just do it. And that's where I was for so long. I just did those things because that's all I knew to do. And I did not know any better. But when you know better, you do better. So after realizing, like once we began to use it, and for a while I didn't even tell our doctor we were using it because I was like, he's going to think I'm weird, you know. And so we didn't even say anything. But then when he started doing her EEGs and seeing that things were getting better and her tremors were getting better, I'm like, you know, her tremors are better. And so like he took her off of some of these different things and began to see that things were changing. And then I started telling him what we were doing, and he was like, that's great, keep doing it because it's helping. So he made me feel better by just his encouragement that it was making a difference. So don't, whenever I say any of these things, I always feel like people are like, oh, I'm never going to go to the doctor ever again. I'm going to jump off of everything. You can't just jump off of your medicine. Like, that's a huge disclaimer. Do not, like, don't do that. But most, and I think now more than ever, people are discovering that a natural direction to go is so much healthier and better for your body. And I think many doctors, where at one point they were very, that's weird, you know, just keep using regular medicine. I think doctors are beginning to realize too that there are other things out there that for natural purposes that are really great. And I have met many doctors that just are so encouraging with that. And you know, it's not about the oils healing you, but about keeping your, just like when we were talking about in one of the other videos about frequency, keeping your frequency up and helping your body to be better and to feel better and to keep you above that wellness line. 62 to 68 megahertz is where your body is healthy. So the oils help you to stay in that place and it's as you drop below that is when sickness comes. When you get down to 57 megahertz, colds and flus and things like that start setting in. So you want to keep your body up high, as high frequency as you can, which means you're going to feel better. You're going to move better. You're going to do all the things better. Like everything's going to be better. So we don't want to negate the fact that we have something better that we can be using to help our bodies to function more like God created it to. Let's look at two areas that are somewhat controversial in the world of essential oils: the blood-brain barrier and cancer. The blood-brain barrier is a touchy subject for some, simply because we understand it to be our protection from allowing harmful substances into the part of our body that makes you you. You know, that, like, you don't want anything getting into that other part and causing problems. We know that brain cancer is untreatable with chemotherapy simply because the majority of the molecules found in chemotherapy treatment are too large and they cannot filter on the blood-brain barrier. It is understood that in order to cross the blood-brain barrier, a molecule needs to be less than 1,000 to 800 Daltons, and some are now saying even under 400 Daltons. Another factor is that a molecule needs to be lipid soluble in order to pass through. Essential oil constituents are both small enough, less than 300, and lipid soluble. One of the heaviest essential oils is clary sage, which weighs at 308. So even it being a heavier oil, and when you can tell the ones that are a little thicker, the molecules are not as small. So like as it's trying to drop out of the orifice, some of them like run out really fast. So that means their molecules are extremely small. But as it's dripping slowly, that means they're a little bit larger. So clary sage is one of those things that you'll sit and like wait for it to drip for a minute. And it's a little bit heavier on the 308. The reason they are so light is because they are volatile. During the distillation process, only constituents that can be carried up with steam become part of the essential oil distillate. So cancer is another area that has lots of claims with the use of essential oils, but little actual published studies. A study published on August 8, 2013 from the U.S. National Library of Medicine and the National Institute of Health entitled Composition cannot talk composition and potential anti-cancer activities of essential oils obtained from myrrh and frankincense. It stated, specific components of myrrh and frankincense essential oils are capable of inducing cancer cell apoptosis. For example, sesquiterpenes are anti-cancer activities that are likely to arrest the proliferation of prostate cancer cells in the GOG1 phase. Plainly put, they have found that the use of myrrh and frankincense essential oil caused cancer cells to start to die. While all of this is fascinating, it is important to know to be your own best advocate. When you understand that essential oils help support cells, it may also interfere with a protocol your doctor has you on. It's imperative to check with your doctor if you are currently on any specific pharmaceutical regimen before you start embarking on any heavy use of essential oils. Essential oils support and regulate healthy bodies. When major sickness is involved, you must consider the work ahead. There may be major changes that need to be made in your lifestyle and diet along with your medicinal choices. I will state it again. You are your best advocate. Be smart, do some research, and then do what is right for you. So as we're talking about those things, we have to really think about what it is that we're doing every single day. It's not just about, oh, I'm going to put this one oil on. I'm going to put frankincense on and I'm going to be healed. And I can't tell you how many people have had that mindset, have said that, and then it doesn't work, or they're not healed all of a sudden, and then they're like, oh my word, that did not work at all. A lot goes into our bodies being healthy and functioning correctly. Cancer, a lot of cancers are, 95% of the cancers out there are from industrial things around us. There's only about 5% that is completely from hereditary type cancers. So most of the cancers out there are from things that we are getting from the environment, things that we eat, things that we use every single day, things that, and I mean, you can even look it up and read it. I mean, like, look up, get your cleaner out from under your cabinet, read the things off of it, look up what those particular ingredients do, and a lot of times, most of them will say maybe cancer causing. And you have to be aware. You have to think about what you're putting in your body and on your body every single day, and on your kids. All of that's highly important. And if you are already on a very heavy chemical filled lifestyle anyway, if you're on tons of medications, those are also chemicals. Those things are still a chemical base. It's not a pure base. So you've got a lot more work to do. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to just use this oil. The great thing about the oils are the simple fact that, just like we've talked about, is it raises your frequency. Just like we talked about the other day, cancer starts at a frequency of 42 megahertz. So when your body just begins to lessen, and that the lessening of the frequency comes from an overload of chemicals, from not eating good, from all the different things that's in the environment. Like, our liver is so highly important, and I say this constantly. Our liver is so important because it filters everything. Everything's filtered through the liver, no matter what. The liver is the most important part first. Kidneys are extremely important, but if our liver cannot filter everything that's coming through, it's filtering all those chemicals. It's filtering all the toxins and everything that's in our environment around us. Our homes are really probably one of the worst places that we could be. I was reading one day that our homes are really the highest amount of chemicals, and where cancer starts. People who tend to be at home, like stay-at-home moms and things like that, tend to have a higher rate of cancer than other people because of the fact that we've got so many chemicals within our home that is all around us all the time. We're using constantly stuff that we're cleaning with. We're cleaning up after nasty little people, and we're doing all of these things, and the chemicals are just sitting in the house with us constantly. We're washing the clothes. I mean, our dryer sheets are the highest rate of chemical nastiness that's in our house, and then that we're putting in our clothes and we're drying them, then we're putting them on our bodies and wearing them all day with all of those chemicals. So we have to be aware. We have to think about all of these things. And when you start to really become more aware of what you're doing every single day and taking out all of these things, I mean, the simplest thing that you can possibly do for your home and for your life is get rid of all the cleaning stuff under your cabinet, everything, and switch to Thieves Cleaner. I mean, like, that is the simplest thing ever. Like, you only have to have that one bottle. You don't have to have 10 bottles. One bottle will do everything. Like, it literally will clean your windows, your floors, your bathroom, your kitchen, your door handles. Like, you can use it instead of Lysol, and no chemicals, none. Like, you don't have to stress out over, well, there's not anything to go try, there's nothing else to do any better. Yes, there is. It's a huge deal. So don't feel like this is an uphill battle that you can't fight. Realize that you can take that one thing and change out a whole lot really, really quickly. Shampoos, conditioners, body wash, I mean, those can be changed out pretty quickly and be able to and actually get them cheaper, because you're going to get points back, and like when you buy them through your account, you can get those things back pretty quickly and get stuff that's free, you know, if you're a member. So that's a whole nother subject for another day. But I want you to understand that there is things that you can do to start swapping out and rethinking the way that you're doing things every single day, especially when it comes to some of these big dis-ease kind of things. We have to be aware. We have to pay attention to what we're putting in our bodies and what we're using in our home every single day. If you have a headache, we don't always have to go to Tylenol. Grab some peppermint, put your thumb on the roof of your mouth and hold it for 30 seconds. That will help your headache. Like, I mean, it's just simple. It's extremely simple, and there's no reason to not be, to not get overly stressed about all of those things all of the times. There are things you can do without having to add more chemicals to your home every single day. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that helps to make a little more sense of what we're talking about when we're talking about using your oils, that it's not a healing factor, but it is a means to a good end. When you're making positive changes and positive choices in your life, that you're getting rid of chemicals that you do not need in your life, the end becomes, what can I do that does not have chemicals in it? Young Living is your perfect choice because it does not have any chemicals in it. You're getting rid of all of the yuck, along with all of the those extra things that you just don't need. There's just no reason, and it works just awesomely. So I hope that you have an amazing weekend. I'm going to go watch a Christmas movie with all my little people now, and I will talk to you soon.